We live in such a convenience culture, and when it comes down to it, let's be honest, we probably don't need half the stuff that we've gotten used to buying. So here are 7 things that I stopped buying, and maybe you should too if you want to reevaluate your spending habits and save more money. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. Number 1, warranties. Don't do it. Don't do it. Here's the thing. It costs a little bit of money at the front. They're like, well, if something breaks, you can get it all fixed. Don't worry, no big deal. And then you actually are like, well, am I buying a crappy product? Like this product that I'm buying, this brand new washer and dryer, is it going to break? And of course, they're like, no, it's great. It's like the top of the line best. Okay, well then why do I need a warranty? Companies make so much money off of warranties because rarely are they even used. So just skip the warranty, save the money. Number 2, name brand cleaning products. So you could go generic or even make your own. Yes, it's amazing when it comes to the actual ingredients of cleaning products. You can actually go generic, or I have learned to make this one spray, y'all, and it's like one of my favorites. So it is, you do water, you do a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and it's this like soap stuff, like it's like a soap concentrate, so you don't need a ton. And then I do some lemon, like essential oils in it. And then I shake it up and I use it. But again, vinegar, lemon juice, baking soda, like there's so much that we already have in our pantries and in our homes that you can use to clean. So just do a quick Google search and I'm telling you, there'll be so many recipes. Fantastic. That'll save you a bunch of money. Number 3, replacement items for my kids. So I got in a really bad habit of like, if something broke, I'd be like, I'll just Amazon it. No big deal, guys. Like the girls will be playing with these like little necklaces, dress up stuff. And they're like, Mom, it broke. And I'm like, it's okay. And I go on Amazon. It's like $6.99 for like 8 of them. So I'm like, I'll just replace it. And then I stopped. I was like, I'm not doing this. No. Number 1, you have to learn that things break. So take care of your stuff. And number 2, we're not just like, we don't have endless money. Like I'm not going to just replace all of your stuff for the rest of your life. No. So I put a pause on that and it's actually been really great. Number 4, trendy shoes that hurt my feet. Man, it's amazing. The style changes constantly. I feel like every season, it's like this new like little element of something. And sometimes it just hurts. I bought these shoes. They were actually really cute, but they had this like burlap strap thing, all of it. They were so uncomfortable. And they weren't like Target shoes where I was like, it's okay. I can probably like wear them a few times, get my money's worth. I'm going to say they cost like $80 or $90. And I ended up taking them back because I'm like, I refuse. Even though they're cute, they would normally just sit in my closet and I would look at them, maybe try to wear it once, then complain about it. But I just took it back. I put them on, didn't like them. I'm like, just take them back. So sometimes the trendiness, it's not always comfortable. Number 5, subscriptions that I don't use. Okay, I'm so bad at this. I'm always like, oh, we want to watch this one show. And I'm like, okay, let's do Apple TV. Let's do HBO Max. Like, let's do a bunch of these things as we're watching shows, and then I never end up canceling it. So if there are subscriptions, go through it because there's more than you probably realize that you're paying for, and unsubscribe. Be done with it because that $8.99 could stay back in your pockets. Now, I can say with total confidence, one subscription that you do need and that I need is Delete Me. Because if you don't remove your personal data from the internet, it's basically like a billboard for all to see because your name, your address, your email, even your kids' names are out there on sketchy data broker websites. And these data brokers then collect your data and they end up selling it, putting you at risk for scams and fraud. But the good news is that Delete Me removes your data to help protect you from phishing, harassment, and other online threats. Winston and I use Delete Me and it saves us so much time and worry. So you guys, your family's safety and financial security are way too important to leave exposed. So sign up for Delete Me and take control. Go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off, bringing your monthly cost to under $9. Or you can click the link down in the description. Number 6, items on sale that I didn't already need. I am terrible at this, y'all. I am. I'll see something on sale. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's on sale. It's a good deal. Just go ahead and get it. I'm sure I'll use it. But no, if it's not something I already needed, I'm always like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Even if it's like 20, 30, 50% off, buy one, get one free. If I didn't need it originally, I walk away. It can be very hard. Now, it's amazing if you actually needed the item and you looked it up and it's on sale. And that's a win. That's great. But just because it's on sale and just because it's a deal doesn't mean it's a good deal for you. But if it's in the budget, you've planned for it, you are good to go. Now, if you need a budget, make sure to check out Every Dollar. It's an incredible budgeting app. I'll leave a link down below. But honestly, this helps me so much when it comes to my spending and my shopping. And I'm so, so thankful for it. Number 7, buying in bulk. All right, y'all, this is kind of like just a shopping tidbit for me. I am terrible that I'm like, if I need a pen, we need pens in the house, we need pens. I will go and they're like, here's a pack of 50. And I'm like, great. I'm like, no, Rachel, you don't need 50 pens. You need 10. Go get the lower quantity. Like, no, but I am such a quantity person, y'all. It like makes me feel safe or something. Like nothing feels better than opening up a fridge and it's like, oh, there's just food in there, right? Like I love it. I love having stuff. And what happens is when I go and buy in bulk, I end up not needing / paying more for something that I don't need a lot of. So that is one of my things that I'm like trying to cut back on and actually be realistic about the number of items I actually need in a situation. Now, like I said earlier, every dollar is a must for me. But recently, I decided to tempt fate and I actually didn't do a budget for 2 weeks. So if you want to hear about that, click right here or I'll put a link down below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. Well, hey, you guys. So as a personal finance expert who's also a mom, I get a lot of questions when it comes to kids and money, which makes sense because I think as parents, we want to raise our kids to be great adults in life. And part of great adulting is understanding how money works. And also, I talk to so many people that say, I wish I had known this earlier. And they're passing that on to their kids, saying, if you can get this early, you can avoid so many mistakes that I made as a parent when it comes to money. So the motivation is so great, and I love the conversation. So today I'm going to be sharing my take on whether or not your kids should get paid for household chores. It's a very hot topic these days. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and also let me know your thoughts in the comments as we go. So typically there's 2 different opinions on this topic. It's either kids should never get paid for any chores around the house. They are part of the family and they should just learn to help out. And the other side is like, no, pay kids on everything because it teaches them earning money and work ethic. There's so many great learning opportunities. So there's like these 2 extremes. And I'll be honest, I land right in the middle. And the way my parents always did it growing up is that we were on the commission system, not allowance. So if you work, you get paid. If you don't work, you don't get paid. But there's also a few chores you're going to do because you're part of the family. There's also a set number of chores that you can do to earn money if that's what you want to do. So again, falling in the middle, I think, is really the healthiest balance on both of them because there's such, great learnings on both sides of that argument. Now, I also want to acknowledge very humbly, and Winston and I, we're not perfect when it comes to this whole conversation. I think we're kind of inconsistent when it comes to it. We try really hard and we're like, do this and you'll get $1. Like we'll kind of do it as we go. But we have a 9, 7, and 4-year-old. And our 9 and 7-year-old, I feel like, are more inclined to do chores and get paid for them because they've actually used money they've earned to buy things and they love it and it's fun. And our 4-year-old, he's kind of getting there. But I feel like we probably need to button up the system a little bit more. So just give yourself grace for sure. If you feel like, oh my gosh, we're failing at this, I get it. We're like, I'll give you $1 if you do this. Like we'll randomly, talk about it and then I don't have $1. And then I'm like, oh God, I'll keep on my notes app, I'll keep a tally of what you've done. It can be a hot mess because life is just crazy. It really is. But again, the more consistent and the more it's talked about and played out, the better off you're going to be. Now, in a perfect world, here's how we would typically roll things out. And obviously this is going to be age dependent. So remember that. But any household chore that is kind of beyond the everyday upkeep. So think about cleaning out the car or washing the car, maybe taking care of animals, maybe going out on the porches and going outside and sweeping off, the sidewalks or the porches, maybe vacuuming or dusting, pulling weeds, helping clean out some closets or get organized in a certain area. These things that are kind of a little bit above and beyond, I think are great chores to pay your kids on because they're adding value. That's not just the basics, right? But then you look at the basics. So this is Charles brings his plate to the sink. The girls were trying to get to, scrape it off and put it in the dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher, keeping their room clean, picking up after themselves. These are things that should just be expected. So again, I see both sides of the coin of have a couple of things that they get paid on because they learn so much when they earn their own money. They give it differently, they save it differently, they spend it differently. But also, you don't want to teach them that every good thing you do, you get paid on, because no, sometimes you just have to do things because you're part of, society. Okay, before I share my thoughts on teaching kids about money as they get older, I want to tell you about something that protects you and your children. That is Delete Me. Because you guys, scammers are everywhere. And I have to admit, I have fallen for a scam or two on my own. And listen, it happens to the best of us because our information's out there, our phone numbers, some of our accounts, emails, addresses, like all of that. So that is why I recommend Delete Me, because Delete Me finds and removes your personal data like your home address, your phone number, and more from hundreds of data broker websites, helping protect you from spammers, scammers, and online thieves, and potentially saving you a lot of time and money. So you guys, make sure to check them out. Go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off. That's joindeleteme.com/Rachel. All right, as your kids get older, a couple things to think about. Get them a student checking account at your local bank. With this, they'll get old-fashioned checks. They'll get a debit card. But to have a student checking, your name is still over the account. This is a great way for them to learn and understand that, using their own money out of this account, having to budget for the month. Mom and dad, they gave us a certain amount of money every month when we were 15, and we weren't allowed to ask them for money. So if we wanted to go out with friends or go to the movies or whatever it was, buy clothes, it had to come out of this account. And if we wanted more, then we had to get a job. And trust me, Dave and Sharon Ramsey did not give us, I swear, the amount of money we really needed. They gave us a much smaller because then we had to go and get jobs, which was great because that's the thing with your teens. Having them earn money is so great. Learning responsibility, scheduling, all of that. So think about babysitting, Chick-fil-A, mowing lawns, being a hostess at a local restaurant, working at a clothing boutique, answering phones for a local business, like anything that they have to do to be accountable to someone else, or maybe they're starting their own business, they're mowing lawns or something. This idea of accountability and earning money outside the household is so good. And so many parents today, I understand academics and sports. That's what I hear a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, we have no time. But scheduling in things that are good for your kids and your teens, it is so crucial. And finding, even if it's just maybe one day a week, or maybe it's twice a month, whatever it is, having them do something to earn money outside the household is so, so key. Above all, have one main goal and ask yourself this question: what will build character for my kids long term? Because every decision that we make as parents, again, we're trying for our kids to be great adults. That's a Andy Andrews quote, which I love. He's like, we're not just trying to raise good kids. We're trying to raise kids to become good adults. That's our goal, to let them go out into the world and win. And if you push them to pursue something new, it is really good for them. There's something about their confidence that is built when they actually add value. So it's really key. And if you see gifts in them, encourage that. Mom and dad, they were big on us starting our own businesses. We had to do that. So Denise and I had this business called Your Integrity Snacks when I was 15 and she was 17. And we had a little snack shop at my dad's office. So we went to all the kitchens and we had to go every Tuesday and refill and restock everything. We had to keep a P&L sheet with all of our expenses and our profits. So there's something, again, in it, you don't have to go that extreme. Thank you, Dave and Sharon. But there's something about learning new skills when you're under your parents' guidance and under their household that, again, just builds this character. And so doing things that are out of their comfort zone is good. This is positive reinforcement, and it is powerful. And when they do start earning money, you want to teach them things like giving, gratitude, contentment. You want to teach them to give, to save, to spend. What they do with their money tactically and emotionally too is great conversations to have. And one way to do that for your little kids is to grab a copy of my latest kids book. It's just come out and it's called I'm Glad When I Can Share. And this is really the jumping point of generosity for kids. When they first can learn to let go of maybe a toy or something, share with other kids, there is something in that they get the joy of realizing, oh my gosh, when I share and I live with an open hand, there is such joy and happiness there than versus if I keep everything to myself. So it is just the most precious kids book. So make sure to check it out. I'll leave a link below. But the discussion on kids and money, it is layered. There's a lot of different topics we can talk about. But if you want to know more about this, make sure to check out my episode on why are millionaires leaving their kids nothing. So click here or click the link in the show notes if you are listening on podcast. All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening. And remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. This stat shocked me recently that 44% of Gen Z and millennials have skipped major social events because of the cost. Now, that kind of can seem drastic, but also very relatable. So let's talk about the cost of friendship and where we need to draw some boundaries when it comes to our money and relationships so that we can all thrive. All right, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. So I know we all feel this. The older you get, it feels like you get out of college and then all the events start happening around life, whether it's birthday parties, showers, bachelorette parties, you name it, it's happening. And on average, people can spend up to $250 every single month on social activities alone. And what's crazy is that makes sense, right? If you're going to like go to a concert with friends, if you're going to go out to dinner and drinks, like things add up. And what's wild to me now as a parent is now our kids' social activities are now becoming a thing to the point that like they get invited to birthday parties, which is so great and so sweet. But sometimes, you know, it's a friend that maybe we were in class with like 2 years ago or whatever. And it gets to be a lot, whether it's buying gifts for everyone, even going to things. And so even recently, Winston and I, this summer, we were like, we got to just kind of like draw a line on the kids' birthday party thing because we got 3 kids. And if they're all invited, they could have like 2 a weekend. And it's wild. And so even putting a boundary up there just reminded me of just how expensive social activities are. So if this is a pain point for you, just the idea that having friendships in general is costing a lot of money, here are 5 things to remember. Number 1, the event doesn't create the friendship. So whether it is the birthday parties or the showers or the weddings, these are exciting things in life. And yes, we want to be a part of them. We want to celebrate our friends, the relationship that we have with them, you know, is fun when you experience something together. Absolutely. But also that relationship existed before this specific event that you're thinking about. So maybe you're struggling with a wedding and it is, you know, a destination wedding and you're like, I can't afford to go there. Maybe it is a shower for your best friend who's getting married, but you got to travel and you're like, I don't have time or money to be able to do that. Like whatever it looks like, just remember your relationship existed before this event. And hopefully if it's a friendship that actually has some depth and meaning and maturity, if you're not able to attend the event, it's going to be okay. Sure, we're all going to be sad and disappointed. We all want to be there for everything, but that's the reality is we can't. All right, number 2, clarify obligations ahead of time by being intentional. So if you know that you can't do or buy everything, then think through and even ask your friend directly which event matters most to them. I was talking to a friend and one of her friends is getting married and she's like, yeah, I'm like one of her close friends, but she has 3 different showers in 3 different cities. You know, then you have the bachelorette party, then you have the wedding. And she's like, I can't do it all. I can't make it all. And so talking to her and be like, hey, what is like the top 2 things? Obviously the wedding you want me to be at, but I can be at the bachelorette party. But is there like one of the showers that you really want me at, right? Communicate and talk to the person about it. And maybe you're not able to bring a gift to every event. Maybe your time is open, you're able to be there, but you're not able to buy a gift for everything. So that's okay. Maybe just choose one gift for one of the things that is socially totally acceptable, or maybe go in for a group gift if you want to do that as well. But whatever you can, communicate on the front end, the better. Number 3, you can't say yes to everything. And again, sometimes it feels easier just to be like, yes, absolutely. But being an adult, we have to learn how to say no and say no gracefully. And again, your character and who you are is not defined by your calendar. So if you look and you're like, oh my gosh, I have all these things to do and I'm going to stay busy all the time and it's so great. Over time, you're going to be exhausted. Like if you don't learn to put boundaries up and say no sometimes, whether that is because you just want to stay busy, maybe there's a little people pleaser in you, I don't know. But I just want you to know, growing up means sometimes saying no to things that maybe you want to, but you can't afford or your time doesn't allow you to. And that is okay. I want to give you permission to know you can't be everywhere for everyone all the time. All right, before I share more, I do want to tell you about one of our amazing sponsors, Christian Healthcare Ministries. More than 100 million Americans carry medical debt, which shows traditional coverage often leaves people to face big bills alone. So families need more than just coverage. They need community. And that is why I love Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is a budget-friendly, faith-based alternative to health insurance, and they've paid over $12 billion in medical bills. Now that is faith in action. With CHM, there are no networks, no insurance headaches. Y'all, CHM is where your faith and your finances agree. So go to chministries.org/budget to learn more today. So I can't wait to tell you about one of our new sponsors, Minnow. Now, we all want our kids watching shows that are fun and safe for them. And that is why I'm so excited about Minnow. It has tons of shows that your family will love, especially The Chosen Adventures, a new show from the creators of The Chosen. So it follows a girl named Abby as she has adventures and makes new friends and even meets Jesus. It is just so good. And as a mom, I don't have to worry because Minnow is ad-free and full of biblical truth. So start your free 7-day trial today at gominnow.com and use promo code Rachel for an additional $10 off an annual plan. That's gominnow.com, code Rachel. All right, number 4. So sometimes you can give your time and you can go to the thing, but you don't have a lot of money. So again, get the extravagant gift. But other times, maybe you can actually work a gift into the budget, but you choose to protect your weekend. So maybe there's another party, another shower, whatever it is. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to take up my whole Saturday to go here. And they're not even that great of a friend. So maybe you're able just to send the gift, ship the gift, but you're not able to actually go to the event. So again, communicating is big around all of this, but you want to keep it clean, meaning you want to know where you're at, time, money, all of it together. And your budget helps you actually do that. If you've not downloaded Every Dollar, make sure to do that because it is my go-to when it comes to budgeting. So you're able to actually look and see, okay, what can I afford and what can I not? And that sometimes is your answer. All right, last but not least, number 5, there is no perfection in social obligations. So listen, we're all gonna make mistakes around this. We are sometimes gonna go to something and regret it and be like, why did I do this? I should have done this. I should have said no. Sometimes you'll skip something and say, I can't do it. And you're like, nope, I'm gonna protect my time. And then when it's over, you're like, man, I wish we had done this. So again, we're not gonna be perfect at this. We're going to make mistakes. Now, thinking through also the specific friend, like, will this friend be offended? Right? Will they really want to see you there? I don't know. Some friends are pretty chill about it. Some can be a little bit more high maintenance. And I don't know if that changes your response to that, but be thinking through even the relationship. Okay, adulting, y'all. Woo! It can cost a lot sometimes, but I just want to give you the permission to say no when you need to and to know we're not going to be perfect at all of this and we can't do everything. And trust me, you are not alone in these kind of struggles, which is why I definitely want you to watch my episode. Every mom struggles with this and no one talks about it. Coming up right here, or if you're on podcast, you can click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. Smartphones are pretty much a consistent part of our everyday lives, including myself. I mean, we use our phones all the time, and I know we have mixed feelings about it. So listen, technology, yes, cannot be a great thing, but sometimes it's very convenient. So I'm going to share the 7 apps that I use every single day. So let me know in the comments what your must-haves are, because sometimes they just help out our lives. All right, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend before we get started. All right, first and foremost, I hate it, but it's just the truth. The data on my phone shows me what apps you spend the most time on. And I looked at mine. I hate it. I hate it. It's just the truth though. It's Instagram. Ugh. Okay. I like to say I have to do it for work. I have to be on for work. It's part of my work. But let's be honest. I doom scroll, and I get in bad habits, y'all. It's crazy. It's like, sometimes I look at my phone and I'm like, I'm on Instagram. I'm like, how did I get there? I don't even remember unlocking my phone and here I am. So yes, a good part of me, I like to keep up with friends. I have a friend, that ran the Boston Marathon and she was like keeping up to date on stories. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to follow her journey along. So sometimes it really is great. And I do like to follow some creators and authors and speakers that I admire. There's some great things about it, but also I probably shouldn't spend as much time. Our church does a technology fast, basically making your smartphone a dumb phone. And it's always like the best 30 days of my year to be like, oh, I'm going to put some hard boundaries around this because it kind of resets my soul. But that's the truth. Number one for me, Instagram. Okay, number two, Marco Polo. I've learned this is a very millennial thing because it's basically a video message that you send to your friend, but you can watch it whenever. You literally use it every day because it's friends that are out of town, some friends that aren't, but I'm not able to see people every single day and I need that connection. So for me, catching up with people, Marco Polo, I love it. Number three is every dollar. So every dollar, if you know me, you know I love every dollar. But I get on it every day and check my transactions. Usually I'm having to add something to the budget, so I'm having to shift some things around. Things just come up in life, and money, as we all know, is pretty much plugged into majority of things that we have going on, whether it's like lunch with a friend or things for the kids' school or like whatever's happening. Usually money somehow is attached to what's going on. So just kind of having a pulse on it every day is something I love. So I track transactions almost every day. I love that. I love the feature of the budget rollover. So it just duplicates last month's budget. So you can go in and like take out the categories that you don't need for the new month, add some new ones. But I like that I don't have to do a new budget every single month. I get to tweak last month's budget. So it makes it easy. I love the insights feature on it because it'll give you bar graphs and pie graphs and show you like where you're spending. And it just, again, I get a good pulse on what's going on with our money. I love that. Speaking of money, number 4, Venmo. So not to be dramatic, but what did we do before Venmo, y'all? I mean, I literally used it, I think, 4 times this weekend with different things. So whether it's like paying babysitters or we got a big dinner for like a lot of our friends on Saturday, and they're all like, how much do we owe you? We'll Venmo you. I mean, like it is. It's just like a part of life, and it really is great. So I do love Venmo. Now, one of my biggest Venmo icks, though, is when married couples send money back and forth because they don't combine their money. So it's like, I'll Venmo you back for this. And I've heard couples do this and I'm like, oh man. So just another reminder, if you're married, just, combine your finances, okay? Don't be Venmoing bills back and forth. All right, something that is not an app, but is an absolute must if you're looking for reliable, affordable healthcare is Christian Healthcare Ministries. Health insurance costs are only moving one way, and it isn't down. The wait times are longer, and it's harder than ever to get anything approved. So if you feel like the system is working against you, try Christian Healthcare Ministries, a biblically based alternative to health insurance. CHM is a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of healthcare costs, stay true to their values, and avoid getting tied down by miles of red tape. Y'all, there is a better way. CHM programs start as low as $98 a month. So find out more and join at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. Number 5 is GroupMe. I love a GroupMe. So in our neighborhood, we have like 20 GroupMes that it's about everything. And it's great because you kind of can keep up to date with stuff. My kids' school, usually there's a GroupMe like per classroom that all the moms are on. And that's very helpful. And I like it better than iPhone, like just texting, because sometimes the group chats on iPhone just get nuts. And I hate like always having like the ding, 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 where for GroupMe, I've like set up the notifications and everything. So I check it. But it's not annoying and it's not like you get behind too much on it. I don't know. There's something about it I love, but pretty much every day I'm on GroupMe. Number 6, Google Maps. Yeah, I have lived in the same city my entire life. I went away for college for 4 years, but I came back. But listen, Nashville's interstates, they still confuse me a little bit, and things are changing around here. And so I do find myself either using like that Google map, or if I'm in my car, Apple CarPlay is great. And then I get my little, map right there. It's fantastic. I love it. Number 7 is Amazon. I get in trouble with this one, but y'all, I am just buying stuff. So whether it's like batteries or a new book or whatever it is, listen, it's convenient. That's all I got to say. So Amazon, do I overspend on you? Yes. But do we love you? Yes. It's a love-hate relationship. Now, even though I do love Amazon shopping and prioritizing intentionality, though, it is still key. So making sure everything is within the budget. So we talked about every dollar earlier, but I'll put a link down below. But if you want to avoid wasting your money on meaningless items that are not worth it, make sure to check out my episode 7 purchases that significantly improved my life. So you can click here if you're watching, or I'll put a link down below if you're listening on podcast. All right, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. So the number one financial take that I give out and I get the most hate for is that married couples should share finances. I know, call me crazy, but this one gets criticized all the time. That piece of advice is crazy. So today I'm going to be reacting to someone else's video about this topic and responding directly to some of the top comments of that video. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. All right, so here is the TikTok clip that I saw that I thought was so interesting.
I don't mean to offend anybody with this question, but can someone help me understand what is the purpose of having two separate bank accounts in a marriage? I can't understand why. I know quite a few different people who are married, who've been married for quite a long time, who have separate bank accounts. And they both pay separate bills. Sometimes, or most of the time, they don't even know how much money is in each other's bank accounts. I just don't understand that dynamic of a marriage. I don't practice it myself, and I would love to know why. Me and my husband don't. Even whenever I had a job early on, we never had separate bank accounts. As soon as we could, we consolidated everything. So is it interest rates? Is it having autonomy from one another? Do you have access to each other's bank accounts? Like, I just want to understand the thought process behind it. I truly want to understand. So if you have separate bank accounts, please enlighten me. I'm so curious what your reasoning is.
Okay, so when I saw that, I was like, you know what? That's like, I understand that feeling of like, I get that people do it, but like the why behind it, I think is always what's so interesting. And so the way that she kind of like just laid it out there, I appreciated it. And here's the thing is I think there's multiple reasons why people have separate bank accounts. Now, the reason I would say on the flip side that I always encourage people to combine your accounts is that when you get married, the more you see yourself as a team and that you're for each other in this life, the better off your marriage is going to be. Not only is your connection and your intimacy and all of that going to be so much stronger and deeper, but also on a tactical level, when we're talking about money, that you're able to live out of the same account. You're able to say, okay, where's this money going? This bill, that bill. And it's not like you're my roommate and I'm having to divide our bills and I'm my own self over here. You're yourself here. And we don't talk, we don't merge, we are separate. I mean, it's like, I don't want you to see my calendar. We're not sharing calendars. I want my own thing. I want my own calendar. And it's like, but no, that makes no sense. Like logistically, like you're gonna have to know who's going to pick up the kids and like, where are you going to go on vacation and what week are you taking vacation? Like it's a part of merging your life together, but money brings out so much fear in people. And I think I see a lot of people just avoid the topic because maybe they're like, okay, well, we just get in fights. We don't look at money the same. And it's just easier if we're just separate. But if I could tell you, if there's anything in marriage that I have learned, I've not been married 50 years, only 15. These subjects in marriage that really trigger you, that come up, those are the ones to press into. They really are, because there's something deeper there. And I think because of people avoid it, they never pull that string and never get to the bottom of what's really going on. And so again, avoiding it or deciding we're going to live separate, people have many different reasons why. And so my team went into the comment section and pulled the 4 most common reasons or excuses that couples have for not sharing bank accounts. And so here, again, I'm always pro sharing. I will always say, though, with the asterisk, that if there is something deeply wrong with the marriage, if there is something that there are secrets, there is maybe addiction, maybe there's been an affair, like if something is going on that's like really big and you're like, I don't trust my spouse in general, then yeah, you probably do have to separate accounts. We've even had calls on the Ramsey show and someone will call me like, my husband won't stop spending and we're 64 and he keeps cashing out money and like, we're not going to have anything in 2 years if he keeps this up. Well, red flag, yeah, you need to protect yourself. So you need your own money. So there are reasons behind this for sure. But for couples out there that there's not this big red flag, you're just living life. Again, combining accounts is so key. So the first thing that I did see come up over and over again, and I experienced this too with my job and talking to people, is divorce. And so one of the comments was, tell me you've never been divorced without telling me you've never been divorced. So There is a lot of damage that divorce causes in people. I mean, it really does. And a big tension point for a lot of people during divorce is money. And so if you've been through a divorce and you've gotten screwed on one side or the other of this issue, you're probably like, whoa, I will get married again. I will fall in love again. Like, all that's great. But like, I'm not going back through that damage because that was so hurtful, so horrible, so scary. So you put up that wall, which makes sense. I'm like, that's like, I get that, right? Like, there's almost a part of me that's like, if you're like, no big deal, I would probably be like, hey, do you remember what happened? Like, is there any level of caution you have that you need to work through? And so understanding that is so key. So if you go into a marriage and you have been divorced or your partner was divorced, again, I'm telling you, even then, I would continue to work on that reconciliation on this topic with your new spouse. And if you need a prenup before, that's great. Like, if you need to do that to feel like I'm protected here. But the point is that money reveals so much of who we are. And the more of your spouse knowing and understanding you when it comes to your money and how you're wired and how you spend and all of that, the deeper they're going to know you. And so seeing yourselves as a team again, even in a divorce case, is something I would work towards. Even if you don't start off there, I would work towards that. Or, maybe it wasn't yourself that was divorced. Maybe your parents were, and you saw like a horrible situation play out. So yeah, talk about that. Work on that fear, because again, I don't want the fear of something to stop you. I don't want to lose common sense in it either. But we see time and time again that money is just a magnification of who we are. And the more we can be as a team, the more the way we spend our money and the way we handle our money together is going to be magnified. Number 2 is getting married later. So one person commented and said, one difference is that if you get married young versus later in life, when you have your own income, retirement, stocks, investments, etc. And yeah, this makes sense. I mean, if you get married in your early 20s and you're like starting off with, out of college, like Winston and I were, you have your first jobs, like you're just kind of starting out adulthood and you're doing it together. It is much easier, I think, just to be like, oh yeah, we're like doing this life together because we're starting off doing this life together from the beginning together. But if you get married later in life, in your 30s or your 40s, and you're established, you have financial progress. I mean, golly, maybe you have, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars in your 401k and like all this stuff, right? That you're like, I have created a wonderful life because I've been wise with money. And then you get married to someone that maybe hasn't been as wise or maybe as wise, but you still feel protective of what you have built, that you're like, let's just keep everything separate. So what I would say to someone like that, like, again, totally understandable. I get that. But I'll go back to what I keep saying. The more you see yourselves as one, and the more you say, we are doing this life together, the more enjoyable it is. The more you divvy out subjects of life of like here and here and here and here and here, the more you're going to just see that in your marriage. You're going to continue to divide yourselves emotionally and everything. And so as much as you can be one, but also remember that you will have in your budget, if you guys do combine and you sit down together and you do a household budget, you need your own line item. And your spouse needs their own line item. And so you can still go spend and enjoy. Like, it's not like you're giving up autonomy completely. It's like, yeah, you still have money to spend and you have just as much say of how you spend your money as your spouse does with theirs. But we're doing this under the assumption that like this is our money together. And so even just changing the language is huge. All right, before I go on, I do want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Christian Healthcare Ministries. So when you lose your employer-sponsored health insurance, there may be a better option than COBRA. Consider Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is an affordable, biblically based alternative to health insurance that could be a third of the price of COBRA. Yes, CHM programs start as low as $98 a month. And CHM has helped hundreds of thousands of families take care of over $11 billion in medical bills since 1981. CHM members also are supported spiritually with prayer when they have a medical event. So try getting that kind of support with COBRA, because you won't. So whether you are going through a job loss, a life change, or just want to consider other options to save on healthcare costs, check out CHM. Learn more at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. All right, number 3 is autonomy. We just kind of touched on this, but this comment said, being married doesn't mean you lose your autonomy. You are still an individual. It's my money I worked for. Not giving anyone free rein to it. Don't care how much I love them. Oh, alrighty. So, autonomy. I have learned, this is like one of the most vital lessons, and I would tell a newlywed couple this, and I wish Winston and I did this at the beginning of our marriage, is you are an individual. So you really do need to focus on like, hey, I have a story before my spouse, and I need to work on myself, because the healthier you are as an individual and the healthier your spouse is, the healthier your marriage is. This like somewhat kind of codependent language of like, you complete me, I'm looking for you to fulfill me in life, and like, it's you're my answer. All this stuff creates a really unhealthy rhythm in marriage. And so for Winston and I, I'm like, oh my gosh, to learn these individuals. And then at the top, you are grafted into one, but you are an individual tree. That was like one of our counselors painted this picture. I was like, it's perfect. Like 2 trees, 2 root systems, but at the top you are grafted because you are one. Like you have vowed your life to be committed to another person. So you cannot ignore that. Like if you don't want that, don't get married. So there has to be grafting somewhere. But if the grafting is at the root system of the trees, it's going to, choke each other out and the trees will die. And we don't want that. But you have to be connected at some level, you guys, if you're married. If you want a good marriage, I guess you could like live your own lives for the rest and you just say you're married to be married. Like it makes no sense. But if you want a relationship that is so unique on this planet, which is marriage, then there are things that you have to say, okay, I'm willing to do this, even though this makes me uncomfortable, even though, man, this can be hard. This is what I have committed my life to. And so that's what I see when it comes to money is, yes, you are your own individual person. You have your own money. But when you start to play that tit for tat game of this is my money, that's your money, you start going into scorekeeping, and not good. That is not a good place to be. And I've done that. I'm like, I unloaded the dishwasher twice. You haven't. Oh gosh, you've done this 4 times. I should do that. And Winston's always like, chill, Rachel, but I'm such a performer and all of it. So it gets to an unhealthy rhythm too. So don't have the scorekeeping. The more you can look at yourselves as one, I promise the better off it's going to be. But when you have your own separate line items in the budget, you can do this in an every dollar budget. Every dollar is the budget that Winston and I use. And there's legitimately a Rachel line item and a Winston line item. And now that our kids are old enough, each of them have a line item because there's stuff that we buy for them and we take it out of their line item. And so that's going to really help show like, okay, here's money here. And then I'll say this too, you guys, in the marriage grand scheme of things, one of you is going to want things that the other doesn't and vice versa. So that is going to come up. There is going to be moments of tension, but those are the moments of tension that you want to work through. And if you just keep your money separate, you don't work through any conflict, and then conflict creates connection, and then you have none of that. So keep pushing through. All right, number 4, last but not least, is laziness. So we're literally too lazy to go to the bank and get a joint account, is what one comment said. So I've heard from different people when it comes to this. But what I know is we have opened up different accounts, for different reasons. And can I tell you, it's pretty easy. Like if there's one bank that you guys like, then close one account, transfer it, and go to another bank and open up another account. So yeah, it is going to take both of you showing up at the bank, usually in person. If there's a brick and mortar, you both have to sign things. Like there are, some of those things that you have to do, but you can do it. So don't let the idea of like, oh, it just feels like too much work to be the reason why. And also, I will tell you that studies show that couples who combine finances, they have a better chance of reaching their goals. So don't let this laziness of, oh gosh, it's just too hard to combine accounts. Don't let that be the reason, because there is so much upside to it on the other end that is so worth pushing through the like, oh God, we got to, have an appointment and show up together at the bank. So listen, do it because it is so, so worth it. Okay, listen, I know all of this can be really intimidating and we all kind of bring our own baggage and stories into a conversation when we talk about marriage. So I do understand for a lot of people like that have had really hard situations, really hard stories, why there is a lot of fear and hesitation. 100% understand that. And not just with money. Maybe there's other areas that there is a lot of fear and a lot of hesitation. But any of those pillars in your story that creates that level of anxiety, like go and talk to someone, like actually do the work and dig in and understand how can I heal from those things so that you can be a whole, healthier person. And if you're married, that's the kind of person you want to show up for your spouse. So couples combining their finances and me getting criticized and hated on for that advice on the internet, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So if you want to hear more about how the internet is criticizing what I teach, make sure to check out 6 things I teach about money that will make you angry or wealthy. That's coming up next. You can click here, or if you're listening on podcast, click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. The IRS has increased contribution limits for 2025, and since it is a new year, let's bring a fresh start to our money. This is a really perfect time to check in with your investing. So today I'm going to share how to invest the right way in 2025, and stick around because at the end, I'm sharing one thing that I never recommend you invest in. Now, before we get started, make sure to subscribe and maybe share this episode with a friend who loves a great investing tip. So as I mentioned, let's go over some updated numbers so you can be aware. So the IRA limit is $7,000, which is the same limit of contributions that was in 2024. The IRA catch-up limit for people over 50 is an extra $1,000, which was the same in 2024. The 401k limit has increased, but by only $500. So now it's at $23,500 for 2025. For single taxpayers and married people filing separately, the standard deduction is rising to $15,000, which is up $400. Couples filing jointly, standard deduction is now $30,000, which is an $800 increase from 2024. Heads of household will get $22,500 as a standard deduction, and that is a $600 increase from 2024. So, some great standard deductions. And when it comes to tax time, you guys, that is something to look into. So instead of itemizing your taxes, maybe you just take that standard deduction, and you may get more out of that than itemizing. All right, another stat that I saw recently is that 89% of employers offer a company match now, which is great news because a little over 10 years ago in 2013, it was about 58%. And I always think this is great. This is definitely, a benefit that companies give you. It's not required, but it is a great benefit for people that are investing in retirement. When your employer can match you a certain percentage, it's basically free money going into your retirement. So thank you, employers out there who do that, because I think it's wonderful. All right, now let's go over specifics for investing this year. So first things first, let's define the why. So why investing is crucial. Number one, it is a great way for your money to work for you while you're sleeping. Okay, it's one of these things you put money in, and over time, it will start to grow on its own. You don't have to put more money in, even though I recommend you do. But it just continues to grow. And I think that it's a wonderful thing because long term, especially if you start early, that growth is going to continue to compound. And when you get to retirement age, you're going to have a lot of money sitting there so that you can retire and live off of that money you saved for, so you don't have to work into your old age. And the hard thing is a lot of people start this, later in life, so they have more catching up to do. But overall, this idea of preparing for your future is key. So much of our money decisions feels like a day-to-day decision or like even in the next year or two. But when you think really long-term, and for some of you, depending on your age, it could be really long-term with retirement, but it is still so key to plan for your future. And always remember that you are in charge of your future. Yes, there is Social Security and different other programs out there, but overall, the best bet for you to have a great retirement is up to you. So investing is a great way to do that. Now, before we talk about when and where, when it comes to investing, I do want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Delete Me. I saw a headline recently that really caught my attention. 1/3 of the U.S. population's background info is now public. So for 115 million of us, data breaches mean that our info is out there for anyone to find. So this is stuff like our names and addresses and phone numbers and so much more. And this is why I love Delete Me, because they go in and they find and remove your personal information from hundreds of data broker websites that will buy, sell, and trade your personal data. So take control of your online privacy with Delete Me. Individual Delete Me plans start as low as $9 a month. Sign up today at joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off, or click the link in the description. All right, next is to know when you should start investing. So when to start investing is going to depend on where you are financially. So I want you completely out of debt, except for your house, which for some people that's going to take, 18 to 24 months. And when you're on your debt-free journey, I even encourage you to pause retirement investing. Even if you're getting that match from your employer, like we talked about, throwing all of your money at getting out of debt as soon as possible is going to be so key, because your income is your largest wealth building tool. Your income that comes in from your job is how you're going to continue to build wealth. But when your income comes in and it goes out 18 different directions in the form of payments, it's harder to build wealth. So getting out of debt is really key. And then making sure you have money saved in the bank, which is a 3 to 6 month emergency fund is also really important because when stuff comes up, not if, but when, and this could be job losses, a move, medical emergencies, like things that may just come up out of the blue, that you have cash in the bank to take care of those versus having to pull money out of investing or retirement where you're going to have to pay taxes and possibly penalties. Having cash liquid is really important. So that 3 to 6 months of expenses, that emergency fund, you could just keep in a high yield savings account. And then after those are complete, then you want to start investing. And so you want to invest 15% of your income into retirement. So take your household income and say, okay, 15% of that is going to go into retirement. So now we're going to talk about where that 15% goes and where to invest your money. So when it comes to retirement specifically, there are some great plans out there that are tax favored. So the Roth IRA, for example, is one. It's the one we mentioned earlier that you can invest up to $7,000 in. Now, there's a traditional IRA that you can open up, but you're going to fund that with pre-tax dollars, meaning before you pay taxes, that income that you make, you can take money out of that and fund your IRA. But the catch is when you pull money out of that IRA, when you're 59 and a half and you can, you're going to pay taxes on the growth. So if you start early, like in your 20s or 30s, you're going to have a lot of growth, which means you're going to pay a lot of taxes. Versus if you do a Roth IRA, and the Roth IRA is after tax money. So after you've paid taxes and done all of that, the money that hits your account, that's the money you use to fund the Roth IRA. But it is worth doing that, again, after you've paid taxes on your income because the growth is tax-free. And again, it's a lot of growth. Like in some cases, you guys, hundreds of thousands of dollars of growth that you don't have to pay taxes on, which is amazing. So the Roth IRA is great. Next is the 401k that we talked about. And this is where your employer can match a certain percentage. Now, in the Roth IRA and the 401k, and then I would also say the 403b, which is like a 401k, but that's more for government type jobs. So teachers, for instance, or nonprofits will have that side. All of these need to be invested. You're going to take these, kind of look at them as like a high level umbrella. And then underneath what the money's actually invested in are mutual funds, which are 90 to 200 stocks. So within that, investing in good mutual funds is what's going to be really key. But again, it's protected over this umbrella of retirement with the Roth IRA and the 401k or 403b. Now, some employers, as we keep getting deeper into this, some employers offer a Roth 401k. Okay, so meaning you still get all the benefits of a 401k, but you're going to do it with after-tax dollars to put in your 401k, and the growth in your 401k is also tax-free. If you have a traditional 401k, you will pay taxes on the growth, but if your employer offers a Roth 401k, it's amazing, and take it all day long because, again, that growth is free. So always remember, Roth means the growth is tax-free. Yay! Traditional, not tax-free. Not as great. So always remember those lanes. And then when you're investing your 15%, remember this formula. Match beats Roth, beats traditional. So you're going to go in and go ahead and go up to your employer's match if you have a match at your job. And so let's say they match 4%. And so you're going to go up 4%, which means you have 11% left of that 15%. Go ahead and take that 11%. Go ahead and fill out your Roth IRA, and it's $7,000. Now, if that $7,000, you hit that limit and you have more percentage of that 15%, you can go back to your 401k. So that's kind of the formula you want to do because we want to take as much as we can for those tax advantage accounts because they're going to help you long term. Now, one question I get a lot is about diversification. And so always remember this. When you diversify, that just means you're spreading your money around. And so that's why I love mutual funds because there's 90 to 200 stock in a mutual fund, right? So if Apple's having a bad year, well, Ford and Toyota and Southwest and whoever else may be having a great year, right? So overall, you're spreading your money around these different companies, which is fantastic versus putting all your eggs in one basket and really concentrating on one stock. It's more of a gamble, and I don't care for that. So I love mutual funds. All right, one thing I never recommend investing in yet is crypto. Okay, I say yet because this still is an evolving investment. Now, crypto, we usually kind of like poo-poo on it because it doesn't have a long-term track record. It's a little bit volatile. It's still just a little bit new. And again, if I'm going to be putting my money in something, I just want it to know that it's going to grow. And when you go and invest in those mutual funds, like we talked about, basically the average has been around 11.8% overall. So you're going to have some down years, but overall, you know what the average is. Crypto is all over the place. And I would say this too, it's full of scams. There's so many lawsuits out there in this industry because people are opening up these fraud type companies and it's not regulated. And that's the double-edged sword. I kind of like that it's not regulated. I mean, yeah, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, let the people run. I don't think that's a terrible thing, actually. But also, you want to make sure that it's proven out and that you're not getting scammed in the process. So I don't suggest investing in crypto. If you do, I would make it a very, very small percentage of your world because it is still pretty volatile. All right, those are the basics when it comes to investing. It can be a little bit complicated, but also, pretty simple, right? The details can be a little tricky, but I also think this is a really important part of your financial picture that you want to get right. So I would connect with a SmartVestor Pro. I will put a link down below so you can connect with one near you. But sitting down with someone and looking over your entire financial plan, including your investments, is a really, really smart thing to do. It's a very adult-like thing. It can feel intimidating, but I would have someone in your corner that's looking over everything. I think it's really, really important. Now, for a deeper dive into my investment strategy, check out my annual investment routine right here or click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.